And over here, it's 246 for Trump to 292 for Harris. But again, 5 out of the 7 states is separated by less than a point.
So Tony Fabrizio, the Trump campaign pollster, sent out a memo later this week saying that their surveys show that the movement among undecided voters was towards Trump. Do you believe that?
Well, every other poll shows that has been conducted since the debate shows that the movement has been towards Harris.
Karl Rove doesn't want to say it, but he's been recently possessed with this need to tell the truth. And the truth is this: Harris is killing it. She went from an unknown to the favorite. Now, truthfully, Trump makes it easy to love Harris. I mean, she's calm, intelligent, eloquent, and yeah, a badass.
Donald Trump was fired by 81 million people. So let's be clear about that. And clearly he is having a very difficult time processing that. But we cannot afford to have a president of the United States who attempts, as he did in the past, to upend the will of the voters in a free and fair election. And I'm going to tell you that I have traveled the world as Vice President of the United States, and world leaders are laughing at Donald Trump. I have talked with military leaders, some of whom worked with you, and they say you're a disgrace.
A new ABC News Ipsos poll gives Kamala Harris a lead in a close race among likely voters, with the vice president currently ahead of Donald Trump, 52 to 46%, a 6-point difference that is outside the margin of error. When do folks start looking at it and say, oh, it's a trend?
Right. Well, I think they need to be looking at the swing state polls rather than these national polls.
He's right. It's the swing states that will decide this election: Michigan, Pennsylvania, Wisconsin, Georgia, North Carolina, Arizona, and Nevada. And Harris is leading in all of them. But Harris has also put Iowa, Alaska, Florida, and Texas into play. And more Republicans like George Will and Fortune 500 conservative companies like Goldman Sachs are now with Harris. But it's women like this, Republican women who haven't voted Democrat since JFK, they're the ones making Trump crazy.
In what world does a candidate for the presidency of the United States of America get on stage in front of the largest debate audience in history and say that immigrants in Springfield, Ohio are stealing and eating people's cats and dogs, their pets, because he heard his running mate say it? So why fact check this? Let's just get boxed into a corner and blurt that out because you think that's a good talking point. Meanwhile, in Springfield, Ohio, you have bomb threats for schools, you have community hate, you have Proud Boys, and then yesterday, Sunday, your running mate gets on a Sunday morning talk show and admits he made the whole f***ing thing up.
Now, the polls are still fluctuating because that's what polls do. A poll can fluctuate greatly depending on who you ask, what you ask, and how many people you ask. For example, if you ask someone, do you believe Biden's horrible immigration policies put American lives in danger, and you ask it in a predominantly red zip code, well, duh. These are MAGA voters. They watch Fox all day. So these polls are meaningless, sort of. I mean, the real intent of these Republican polls that are drastically different than, say, Associated Press or Quinnipiac or USA Today is that these Republicans want to show Trump way ahead, so when Trump loses these states, he can claim he has proof of fraud by using fraudulent polls.
And President Trump said today, any negative poll is fake news.
I almost enjoy the honesty of that tweet because, frankly, look.
You're such a positive person.
I'm trying to be chipper. Look, you can say, I think the polls are bad. I think the polls are broken. I think the polls can't be trusted. Those are valid statements to make. That's a debatable point. Saying, I only distrust the negative polls is not actually a position that is tenable, but frankly, that is the position that he holds. So kudos to him for being at least honest about it. I think there's a lot that the polling industry needs to do to figure out how we can regain trust, how we can make sure that people believe the numbers that we're putting out. But you can't just say only the negative polls are bad. That's not how it works.
Well, and the same thing with the work we do. The negative stories, the unflattering stories are fake, he says.
So Trump continues to lie about the outcome of the 2020 election, saying it was rigged against him even after dozens of his court challenges failed. There were reviews, recounts, and audits in battleground states all affirmed Biden's win. And Trump's own attorney general said there was no evidence of widespread fraud. But despite no evidence of any widespread fraud, a 2023 poll found that most Republicans believe Biden was not legitimately elected president.
You think that Trump is actually still in power right now?
Mm-hmm. What do you think?
So you think Biden is not the current president right now?
No, sir.
No.
No, sir. Never believed it.
So Trump is the current president right now?
Yes, sir.
So are you mad at Trump for the high gas prices?
No. It's not Trump's fault.
Whose fault is it then?
He's got to set all this.
But Joe
up.
Biden, where's Joe Biden? He said he's not president.
He's not the president.
But Harris's rising poll numbers are still rising. And let's remember that the margin of error can flip either way. When Harris is up 52 to 48%, that could be 55 to 45 Harris. And in elections past, they have flipped that way to the candidate who is hot. And Harris is smoking. She continues to pick up endorsements from Republicans and conservative organizations. And this just in, Facebook has told Russia, take a hike.
Meta now saying that it's banning them all with, millions plus followers for, quote, foreign interference activity. They're worried, of course, that they're using the platform to conduct essentially covert information operations.
Most Americans have never been polled, but we are amazingly predictable in our behavior. Trump's success is hard to understand and even more difficult to phrase in a question. I mean, why is Butch from Alabama making $34,000 a year working at an auto parts store, suffering from early diabetes, but he's on Obamacare, with little or no pension, and the only retirement he has is Social Security that's under attack by Republicans? Why is this guy voting for a billionaire who brags incessantly about his wealth?
I'm very rich. I don't need anybody's money. It's nice. I'm really rich.
This summer has been unique in American political history, with Biden, the incumbent, pulling out and Harris stepping in with an immediate bump in polls everywhere. In June, Trump led Biden by 18 points in Iowa, but now his lead over Harris is 2%. Why? Trump fatigue and enthusiasm for change have taken over our nation. Add Trump's attack on women's reproductive rights, and you get the momentum that women found in 2018, when Democrats, propelled by choice activists, won 234 seats in the House. And that's back, big time. And then there was the debate.
Execution after birth. It's execution, no longer abortion, because the baby is born.
There is no state in this country where it is legal to kill a baby after it's born.
Trump seemed out of it, bullied by a woman of color who took it to him.
First of all, it's important to remind the former president you're not running against Joe Biden, you're running against me. I believe the reason that Donald Trump says that this war would be over within 24 hours is because he would just give it up. And that's not who we are as Americans.
So here's the script moving forward. Trump is conducting polls in swing states that are highly partisan, even and especially when their internal polls are telling them the truth. They're in big trouble. Trump will use these fake polls to challenge results, even when there's no basis to do so. This will be a very tight electoral result, with Trump losing the popular vote by millions, which he will deny and say illegals voted. So what will happen after Trump loses? That is almost as frightening as if Trump should win. But maybe not. Maybe even MAGA is tired of Trump, tired of the thousands of lies, the threats, the hardcore ignorance of the man, and the outright racist dog whistles.
Welcome to our country from the Congo. Where do you live in the Congo? We live in prison. Oh, that's right. They released them from prison. I don't think they wanted to ask what they did, but they're coming in from Africa.
In the end, the only polls that matter are their votes, meaning Democrats have twice as much work. We need to vote, then defend the votes against the lies and the coup d'etat Trump is planning. Trump once said that 90% of people don't believe in polls. But of course he did.
I'm ready, let's go.
Damn right. Hi, what's up?
Shut the f*** up, Donnie.
This isn't their Republican Party anymore.
Trust me.
Who's with me? Oh, yeah, the lie.
Indictable. Out of sheer morbid curiosity, I'm allowing this freak show to continue.
I don't want to talk about this stuff.
Am I wrong?
Yes.
Tick-tock.
You're in a lot of trouble, Donnie.
I think he's crazy.
I'm Chip Franklin.